Good morning, everyone. This is Srikant Rajan. Welcome to the Stock Market Podcast from MPIinvest.com, the only community where you get guided assistance to invest in stock market, bonds, mutual funds, fixed deposits, and all kinds of insurance. If you are not a part of this amazing community yet, visit our website MPIinvest.com to join the free investment community. Coming to stock market yesterday, we did see a major bullish day yesterday. In fact, we could see the Nifty opening at 16,151 with a gap up and the rally continuing to 16,278. In fact, a lot of call writers have actually gone into trouble. But of course, in MPI family, we had taken safe positions which kept us kind of safe in the day. So if you look at the institutions, the FIAs have changed to buying for a short term, of course, probably. So they have bought for 156 crores, but the DIIs have bought for 844 crores. So it was a joint effort by both the institutionals that actually led the market to such a high. But then we could see, it was a broad-based rally and a major power came in from the IT sector, metal sector and the banks. So that was something really good, but then it could be more of a short covering rally, I would say, because the IT metal have been kind of shorted majorly in the recent past. So apart from that, what we could see was the US market after the Indian markets close. Yes, so after the Indian markets closed, the US markets were also in the green yesterday when I was doing the evening market podcast. But then things have changed overnight, and by the time the US markets actually closed, they closed in the red. Nasdaq was down by 0.81%, S&P 500 was down by 0.84%, and Dow Jones was down by 0.69%. So what led to all the fall in the US market? So basically, there was good earnings that came in from Goldman Sachs and Bank of America, so which was driving the market higher. But little later, when IBM results came, of course, IBM gave good results, but the problem was that they expected a lower cash flow in the future forecast. So that is something kind of gave some negativity, and we could see IBM shares falling by almost 4% in the day. Similarly, there was also a report that Apple is slowing down the hiring session for the next year, which is something again not looking good, and that's exactly why yet another heavyweight in the US stock market, that is Apple, fell down by more than 2% in the day. The third reason, Netflix. So Netflix results are coming in today evening, and of course they had already projected in advance that they are going to see a loss of almost 2 million subscribers. So which is of course a really bad thing, and if at all, if the actual results shows that it is more than 2 million subscribers, things could be even worse. And Netflix, being the world's largest streaming service and also the company which is one of the biggest heavyweights in the stock market in US. So this is something that again is giving jitters to the investors, and as of now people are just waiting for the results from Netflix. So that's something which is kind of keeping US market at bay. But if you look at this week, we have some major results coming in the US market. Tesla is coming up with results, Twitter is coming. So with all these major heavyweights coming up with results, of course we would see the market to be range bound at times, but over the period of time it is kind of giving, of course, volatility. And apart from that, there is also expectation rising now that next week there is a Federal Reserve policy meeting, and there are chances again the people have started talking about the 100 basis point hike compared to the 75 basis point hike actually planned earlier. So with all that, US markets are kind of mixed. They are kind of confused where to go. So it is only after all these data comes out that we could have some certainty in the US market. And of course, since US market has been almost governing kind of the global markets right now, so it is of course to be watched carefully. Apart from that, if you look at India, in India we have some major news today, that is of course the results from HUL. The FMCG major Hindustan Unilever is coming up with the results today, and the results are kind of expected to be good, but then there is going to be huge pressure on margin with rising inflation. So we know that last quarter was affected by high palm oil prices and also the crude oil going up, which actually drove the transportation cost and distribution cost really higher. So these are things that may actually affect HUL, which may actually pinch the net profit. So that's something that we can look forward to today. So let us see how HUL comes up with results. Also, we have a result coming in from HDFC Life, which will be in watch, which I am expecting to give a decent result, which probably may not be a thing of worry. Apart from that, Mahindra and Mahindra is in news as they've raised their stake to 100% in the Finland-based product development company, which they had invested in a little earlier. So now they've raised it to 100%, taking over the complete ownership, and this is something which can be seen as a positive. And yesterday Mahindra was kind of slightly down from the all-time high, but probably this can kind of support the fall in Mahindra. So that's something that we can watch out for. And as we speak, with all the US market negativity, of course, we are seeing the futures already kind of trading lower. Nifty 50 index at SGX Nifty is actually indicating a gap down, which is almost at 16,161, which could be almost almost a 100-point gap down opening. So if that happens, this could be really good for Gold Club members, because we had sitting with some amazing trades which could give some good results. But apart from that, for the market, since the market is kind of opening with 100 points gap down, we might see some rise, and after that it is the second half of the day which needs to be watched as European markets open. So if we see some selling off happening in the European markets, there are chances India also might see some sell off. But in the initial part of the day, probably we would kind of stay range bound or kind of slightly on the positive territory after a gap down opening. However, as I am discussing this little early, being a Tuesday, it's just 6:45 right now. So there are chances that you might actually see a slightly better opening, not that 16,160, probably around 16,200 range. That's something that we can expect, because of late we have been seeing that Nifty is not respecting SGX Nifty. So this is kind of plus that I feel probably it could open around 16,200. If that is the case, whatever it is, we should see kind of Nifty to be in a more stable manner, unlike US. So we are of course waiting for major results from our heavyweight Reliance. So that's something to be watched out for day after tomorrow. So apart from that, things are looking okay for India. There are no other news that actually has to drive the market up or down. So that's why I am expecting the market to kind of stay range bound until the Reliance results come. So let us look forward to yet another profitable day. So on the support, important support and resistance, I would say 16,000 of course continues to be a major support to Nifty right now. And on the higher side, of course, 16,200 to 250 is a range which is kind of looking not that great. So that's something we should see as a resistance right now, 16,200 to 250. And if at all it crosses, which I don't think will happen today, then 16,400 would be the next important resistance to be marked. So let's look forward to all these and get into some amazing trades. And of course, each fall is good for investors to invest and grow a beautiful portfolio. So with that, looking forward to a profitable day again and wishing you all the best. So this is Srikant Rajan signing off. But before we leave, do press the like button if you love the content that we share, and do share this with your friends to help them learn and invest together with us. Goodbye.